thousands of Americans have been brutally killed by those who illegally entered our country, and thousands more lives will be lost if we don't act right now. This is a humanitarian crisis, a crisis of the heart and a crisis of the soul. Imagine if it was your child, your husband, or your wife whose life was so cruelly shattered and totally broken. To every member of Congress, pass a bill that ends this crisis.
Right, and the president said, call your member of Congress. We've called up Sarah Sanders. She's the press secretary to the president, joins us live in North Lawn. Sarah, good morning. We know that the president is going to meet with Chuck and Nancy and other top congressional Republicans and Democrats later today around 3 o'clock. But last night it was so clear. The president is fighting for the wall, and they are fighting against it. It just doesn't look like either side can budge or they're going to look bad.
It's actually more than that. The president's fighting not just for the wall, but he's fighting for border security. He's fighting for the protection and the safety of every American citizen. And the fact that the Democrats want to continue to live in denial and pretend that things that are coming across this border that bring harm to people in this country aren't happening is frankly sad. It's ridiculous. And I think you saw that on full display last night in their response to the president.
Yeah, what did you make of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer? They came out and they were standing behind that podium, and Chuck Schumer said that he thought that the wall was unnecessary. But then if you look at what he said back in June 24th, 2009, he said, we need to create a significant barrier. So why the change of heart? Is it just because they want to go against the president, they don't want to win for him?
I can't find a single other reason other than that they want to fight this president on every single thing. They care more about playing politics than they do about protecting Americans. I think what we saw last night was, frankly, pathetic excuse. If this is the face and the future of the Democrat Party, I think things are looking really good for Republicans. But what our focus here is making sure that we get border security. We've laid out a very clear proposal. In fact, in that proposal, we listed things that the Democrats wanted us to do, demonstrating our willingness to work together with Democrats. They said they didn't want a concrete wall, so we made it a steel barrier. They requested specific types of technology to be included at ports of entry. We put that in our proposal. We have shown our willingness to work with them. Now they have to show that they're willing to do their jobs and do something other than fight this president.
Sarah, do you get the sense that Friday the president's looking at as a real deadline? Because that'll be the second time people miss their paychecks, and there's a real urgency between the address yesterday, the visit on Thursday, and now the specific demands are out there. Do you get the sense that something's got to change by Friday?
We sure hope so. The leadership will be at the White House later this afternoon, and it would be great if Democrats showed up and demonstrated the same type of willingness that we have to actually get the job done, to do what they were elected to do. They all took an oath of office to uphold the Constitution, to protect the people of this country. Let's hope they get serious about it, and we see some of that this afternoon.
Okay, and he's going to have lunch with the congressional Republicans up on Capitol Hill. Then tomorrow he's going to go to, we believe, McAllen, Texas, to survey what's going on at the southern border. He's making the case that there's a crisis down there. And last night, while he did not, Sarah, mention declaring a national emergency at the southern border, that certainly remains an option. The big question is how likely, given the fact that if he does that, then it could probably reopen the federal government.
Certainly still an option, something that's on the table, that's something that we are looking at. But at the end of the day, the best solution to fix this problem, it's not just a budgetary issue. We have legislative fixes that need to take place, and we need Congress to help us do that. So we're hopeful, again, that they'll get serious about doing their jobs and work with us to accomplish these things.
Yeah.
Sarah, also there's some other news. Rod Rosenstein, the report, and Fox confirmed it, will be resigning in the next 2 weeks. What could you tell us about that, and what's the president's reaction?
I know the Deputy Attorney General has always planned to roughly stay around 2 years. I know he has a great deal of respect for the new nominee for Attorney General, Mr. Barr, and I think they have a great relationship. I haven't spoken to the Deputy Attorney General myself, so I'll leave any announcements for him or the president to make when they want to do that. But certainly, I don't think there's any willingness by the president or the White House to push him out. My guess is that he is making room for the new Attorney General to build a team that he wants around him.
Sarah, there was some discrepancies with some numbers. You had said that border officials detained 4,000 suspected terrorists last year, and then the Customs and Border Patrol revealed the real numbers, and only 6 people on the security watch list were detained over 6 months. We wanted to ask you about that. Why the inflated figure?
I should have said 4,000 at all points of entry, not just at the southern border. But the bottom line is, whether it's 1, whether it's 4, whether it's 14 or 4,000, one terrorist coming into our country in a legal fashion to do us harm is one too many. And we have to take every step possible to prevent that from happening, including protecting our most vulnerable points of entry. And we know that to be the southern border. We have to do what is necessary to protect our border, to protect the people. And that's exactly what President Trump has done, and that's exactly what he laid out in his speech last night.
All right. Sarah Sanders joining us from the North Lawn. Another slow news day. Sarah, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks so much for having me.